You are now tuned in to the News You Can Use podcast. I'm your host with the most big surf guy, and today we're getting into the young Dolph murder trial.
Hopefully the connection is better over here.
I can hear you. Can you hear me, Valentino?
Nope.
Yeah, maybe it was the area I was in.
I can hear you good now. Hello.
Yeah, he's crazy low, bro. Jeez.
Yeah, I can't hear him say nothing, bro.
Yeah, me either.
Nah, I ain't gonna lie, y'all. Kendrick and TDE might have been playing 4D chess this whole time. I'm not even talking about the battle. I'm talking about like back in 2012, 2015. Like they might have had this whole thing lined up since then, bro. Since they recognized that it was going to be a potential back and forth between them and Drake, I genuinely think that that became part of their overall plan. Like real talk. I think they had so much confidence that Kendrick was going to cook that it was a part of their whole plan. And I'm gonna break this down, bro. So with what we just found out, right? Drake has been in a bad situation with Lucian Grange. You see what I'm saying? And obviously not a bad situation in terms of this a bad situation in terms of where he is in his career or where he's supposed to be in his career. You see what I'm saying? And we just found this out. And you would think that Drake was in a different position than he was before, because we all knew about the bad contracts. Pusha T had a whole track about it. You see what I'm saying? We all knew Young Money and all of them was in bad situations. But this was supposed to be the point where Drake wasn't in that situation no more. At least that's how they've been perceiving or trying to make Drake be perceived. You see what I'm saying? They've been painting Drake in this light where he's figured it out, or he's on this, you know what I'm saying? He got all the shit in order. You feel me? And you see this a lot when they start having conversations about Drake and Jay-Z. But in reality, Lucian Grange and Drake's relationship makes a lot more sense. It makes a lot more sense, especially when you figure out that, or when you remember that Lucian Grange is bragging about saying, I will give Drake whatever budget he wants for a project. And then Drake is then getting on songs and bragging about his relationship with Lucian Grange. Like, he's appearing very powerful within that dynamic, as if it's like an even exchange. You see what I'm saying? So I think a lot of people started to perceive it that way. And maybe even some of Drake's enemies started to perceive it that way. You feel me? But we now know that was all a facade. And in reality, the main reason Lucian Grange would be giving Drake whatever budget he wants is because he's going to benefit from 90% of it. Why wouldn't I give you whatever budget you possibly could ask for if I'm going to benefit from the absolute majority of it? And when you find this out and you use that, you realize a lot of things in the past look way different. And the main thing I want to talk about is For Sale. Okay? This song right here may have actually gone down. This song in time is going to go down as one of the most, like, I don't even know how to put it. I don't want to say prolific, but kind of. You feel me? So
my theory was it low-key dry snitching though? Like, I don't know. Y'all gotta get in the comments.
On the surface, this song comes off as, you know what I'm saying, a song about Lucifer, a song about the devil. Even right here, you know what I'm saying, it says this song offers a deeper insight into the previously introduced figure of Lucy, right? And even when I first heard it, that's when I came away with it. I thought he was talking about the devil and boom, boom. But I'm pretty sure by now, most of us have come to the conclusion that he's talking about Lucian Grange, right? So if you have come to that conclusion, which I feel like most people have, and then we'll find out that Drake is actually in a terrible contract right now, and then you compare when Kendrick decided to get involved with Lucian Grange and when Drake decided to get involved with Lucian Grange, it's very interesting. So let's take a look at these lyrics in verse 2. He said, my name is Lucy Kendrick. You introduced me, Kendrick. Usually I don't do this, but I see you in me, Kendrick. Lucy give you no worries. Lucy got million stories about these rappers that I came after when they was boring. So when you look at it from the perspective of this is not the devil per se, or you could say metaphorically because, but this is Lucian Grange, it changes the idea of the verse, of course. But now we can break this down differently, right? So when he says about these rappers that I came after when they was boring, now that we know around the time that Drake got that $400 million deal with UMG, right? Which some people are saying he sold he was selling things to UMG, selling publishing and stuff to UMG, or selling to end up to getting that money like how Wayne did. I don't know if that's true or not, so take that with a grain of salt. But that's what I've seen some people say. But when you look at it from that perspective, right? This is right around the time Drake ends up signing that. This is right around the time where those allegations and all this different stuff are starting to build, right? Before the battle, by the way. They try to make it seem like they didn't happen until the battle. But these allegations and all this different stuff and all this weird behavior starts showing up, right? And he's able to drop a song. When he signs that deal, or when he's able to drop songs that distract people from the situation, like or before he signed a deal, Tootsie Slide, right? which is what Kendrick was talking about. He was able to drown the allegations because he dropped Tootsie Slide. And there was a whole lot of push and amplification of it. Like, it was like crazy. It was everywhere, right? And when you look at it from that perspective, if that's inflated and that's not reality, right? Once he starts to come back down, he's got to re-sign again, or he's got to put himself back in position again and to continue to drown the narratives and drown the allegations and drown all this stuff, right? At that point, you can say this is when Drake got boring. And I feel like a lot of people started disconnecting with the music early, but the relationship and the need to keep him afloat allowed them to inflate his stats, inflate what he had going on, which is why he has so many allegations of bots for everybody else, right? And Lucy is basically talking to Kendrick and saying, eventually you gonna come rock with me. When you start boom, boom, or whatever, you gonna come rock with me. You gonna come rock with me, so it's all good, right? But I don't think that Lucian is expecting Kendrick to dominate in the way that he dominated culturally and influence-wise and impact-wise. So he's thinking like, without me, you know what I'm saying? You're going to do your thing, but you're not going to be able to do what you can really do. You see what I'm saying? But Kendrick ends up doing that, right? And we'll get to what that changes later on. He says, Lucy give you no worries. Lucy got millions. Lucy gonna fill your pockets. Lucy gonna move your mama out of Compton inside the gigantic mansion like I promised. Lucy just wants your trust and loyalty. Avoiding me is not so easy. I'm at these functions accordingly, which puts it in a more mortal perspective. Like, yes, the devil would be at these functions as well, but at these functions accordingly puts it in a more mortal perspective. You feel me? And then Lucy gonna call you even when Lucy know you love your father. I'm Lucy. Lucy, her prayers on your last album. Truly, Lucy don't mind because at the end of the day, you'll pursue me, right? Before this information is coming out, I have an interesting perspective about those bars. But now that this information has come out, it's put it in a whole different light, right? Because if Drake was never who we thought he was, then it was always clear as day who was the guy that Lucian Grainge was actually trying to grab. But he had to work with Drake on a different instead because he wasn't able to get to Kendrick at that time because of contracts or whatever it might have been. It sounds like it because of Kendrick's perspective, and that's all theory, right? So from that perspective, you then learn that Kendrick Lamar, from that point, drops a couple classic albums. He got To Pimp a Butterfly, which is what this album's on. Damn, which is just commercially crazy. Humble is Double Diamond. Boom, boom, boom. Even Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers granted him a worldwide tour. You see what I'm saying? That don't happen just for anybody. Kendrick Lamar is upper echelon, right? So when he pulls up to negotiate with Lucian now, it's a whole different conversation than it would have been if he had rocked with Lucian then. And that's honestly the difference in their careers. And when you look back on Buried Alive, it seems like Kendrick was really kind of paralleling the two. You see what I'm saying? Like, and I don't think it was with ill intention at the time, but that seems like that's kind of what he was doing, so that when it's all said and done and we look at the past, we see which artists who are coming up would see which path they would rather truly go on. That's just what my perspective. But because Kendrick took his time, did his work, did what he was supposed to do, got the label situated, and then when it signed a publishing deal with UMG, I'm pretty sure it's a publishing deal. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. But then went to go sign that with UMG. He's now putting himself in position to where everything he's about to put out, he now owns. So it's very possible that TDE and Kendrick Lamar obviously knew they could click Drake whenever they felt like it. There was never going to be a point where Drake was going to be able to genuinely beat Kendrick Lamar in a battle. There was never going to be that point. Kendrick always had the culture on his side. Drake did not because of the decisions that they made. But Kendrick was also able to have that popular influence as well. So because of this, Kendrick is in a position where they can save the battle for later. Why have the battle now? You know, Drake is taunting him, thinking he can bait him into a battle and then silence him. Why wait for the battle? Why do the battle now when we can wait till you get out your deal, right? Wait till you're no longer on TDE, separate yourself, you know, get the PG Lane situation going, build up the catalog, right? And then go knock Drake head off. And that's what I genuinely think they did, because you got to think about it. He owns the diss tracks, right? And he owns GNX. And GNX is one of the most commercially successful albums of all time. We talk about an album that's connected to the Super Bowl, an album that's connected to the Pop Out, an album that's connected to a worldwide stadium tour. And that's the first album he fully owns. It's genius. It's genius. They waited and said, you know what? We gonna clip Drake when it's time. We gonna make defeating Drake a part of the business plan. And first of all, they had a certain level of confidence to where, if you really think about it, it is a gamble because of Drake's relationships and his lineage. It was a gamble, but they were so confident in it. It's crazy. They were so confident they made that a part of the business plan. And that's genuinely how I feel. I could be wrong, but that's how I feel. Because if you wait for the battle, it's obvious. These are two, whether Drake's is manufactured or not, these are two very huge hip-hop artists.
Right.
And Drake's not a hip-hop artist, but that's a perception. But he's crossed over into pop as well. So these two, it was always going to be a mega battle, and whoever won that mega battle was going to be able to take advantage. Drake also wanted to take advantage. He wanted to clip Kendrick and then renegotiate. So they both knew what this was going to be. But I think Kendrick's preparation in comparison to Drake's preparation was a whole lot different, because now Kendrick is dominating, but the things that he's dominating with are his. And I think they knew that. I think they knew that's what the game plan was going to be. I think they knew exactly what they were doing. And they had the utmost confidence to say, we know that Kendrick can whoop him so much. We so confident in that we going to take that opportunity and build on it. And build on it. And that's exactly what they did. And Drake would have did the same thing. But I think Drake's would have been still attached to, I don't think he would have had as much ownership in his situation.
I don't think
I don't think he would have been, you know what I'm saying, able to do a Super Bowl and boom, 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 and all that different stuff. You see what I'm saying? I think he could have done it, but I don't think it would have been on the same, I don't think the influence isn't genuinely there, in my opinion. So from that perspective, I genuinely think Kendrick Lamar, TDE, built the whole foundation, built Kendrick up, and did it correctly, right? Took their time and all that to the point of a megastar. And then he went and negotiated with UMG. You see what I'm saying? And it put a whole different, like the fact that they couldn't censor him, it says a lot. It says a lot. I wonder if that was a part of the contract. Like, you can't censor nothing I gotta say or nothing I want to say. It's up to, like, I wonder if that's what it was. Because how do you get Meet the Grams 30 minutes after that if they can censor you and then not like us the next day? No, bro. I really think Kendrick and TDE was playing 4D motherfucking chess, bro. And they.
All right, let me see if I could move. All right, let me see if I could
Keep it real, nigga. Talking about Brandon. Brandon's at the bottom. That's the agent's name that did the fucking report. Whoever the name up top.
That's what I was asking. That's what I
Come on, blood, you know what that is. You been to the joint, nigga.
Do y'all remember this?
So according to NASA, the aliens is on their way to Earth, and they hostile, which means they ready.
Straight up, man. Something like Pepsi would say, man. People still here. You did, you know what I mean? Straight up. Man.
Rest in peace, Pepsi.
Yeah. Hold up, bitch. Hold up, bitch.
Hold up, bitch.
Hold up, bitch.
This had to go fucking.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, a long time ago, man. Yeah. I had to wait, man, to say this shit, man. Yeah. I had to wait for this motherfucking shit, man. This shit here, man. You dig? You ain't gonna dig me, understand me? You dig? Straight like that, riding on candy on a bit. Wrong with him doing the bussy thing is just be nice about it, be cool about it, be upfront about the bussies that this man has funded when they said
that's 2 buffers already just hitting. He talking bussy. Like, come on, man. Do you guys think he should have settled, or do you think he did the right thing?
He had that thing.
I mean, listen, I honestly think that when it comes down to lawyers, buddy, it's like you're gonna have to do something serious, or whatever they advise you to do. It's like cool, I don't want to around. You know what I'm saying? So I think that he got to a point where he didn't want to around.
You better settle right now.
And he better settle right the fuck now. That's what happened. I mean, he'll always still be that guy. You know what I'm saying? Shannon is like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, well, I didn't know who he was, but I know that he's very, very legendary in his field, in his craft. I don't know him to be like a Deion Sanders or nothing like that. I just know that what he's
Gonna let those shoot shots in the code as well. The woman and the devil. Oh shit.
Reverend Dr. Malachi York, why is it that the devil came after the woman?
We go back to Genesis chapter 2 and look at the 7th verse. Somebody have it?
Yes.
Can you read it?
Yes. It says, then the Lord God took some soil from the ground.
See, that's why I don't want to use that version of the Bible. Because here in Georgia, particularly in America, most people use the King James version of the Bible. A lot of demons have stepped in and started creating all these different versions, the Jehovah's Witness version, the 7.
Separation. I caught Santa Claus sniffing cocaine. I've never heard this, bro. I would have slapped that. I think I have to.
I called Santa Claus sniffing cocaine.
Suge Knight details how Reggie Wright Jr. set up Tupac. That's crazy. David Kenner tells how.
First of all, I got a bullet still today, a 45 bullet an inch to my skull. You can look at my medical records and see the x-rays and see it's in my skull. They didn't remove it because they said if it would have went another inch, either I'd have been a vegetable or dead. Now, for as with the
Jump back up. Get back to it.